I woke the next morning feeling like an entirely new person. I grabbed my uniform, laying it flat against my chest and glancing into the mirror. It is I, Hana, an actress. I giggled quietly to myself. Mai groaned from her bunk. Sorry. I changed into my uniform and dashed out the door. Today was the first day of the tournament. Today was the day of the tournament. Maybe I could turn one win into two? I stepped out into the fresh spring air, taking a deep breath. My event was the first one to go, so I had to be there earlier than most. Plus, it took a little time to get to Higanbana. I set my shoulders and started across the campus. The arcade at which the tournament was being held was much smaller than I expected. I felt like I'd find some kind of convention, but instead it was a small local arcade filled with arcade machines. Smaller rooms split off, which was probably where the individual competitions would take place throughout the day. A few people milled about the space, generally older folk in their 20s and 30s. I glanced at the agenda in my hand and made my way to one of the back rooms. When I entered the competition room, I found 2 chairs on an elevated platform, a computer and a projector sitting between them and hooked up to separate controllers. Ian sat in one of the chairs, looking bored out of his mind.
Good morning.
Ian! Hey. It's about time you showed up. I was starting to get worried that you died. Aw, it's sweet of you to be concerned. Is it? Yeah. Aw. I got into the chair next to him. A man came over to me to check my name and club affiliation. I'm part of the Normal Boots Club. A small surge of pride made me sit up straight as I said it. There were chairs lined up for people to watch us compete, and to my surprise, the entire room soon filled. As the chairs were filled, my nerves grabbed a hold of me. I swallowed hard, searching the crowd to find John. There he was! My anxiety eased. I smiled and made a little wave, and he waved back. The lights around Ian and I dimmed, and the projector started up, showing the main menu of Dumpy Doom's Revenge on screen. It was time to start. As the MC began his introduction and explained the rules of the game, Ian turned to me, a smirk on his face. You sure you're ready for this? You bet I am. Ready to go? The man turned to us. Ian and I nodded. Then, 3, 2, 1, start! The game began. I immediately clicked to fill my screen with 2 more lines of blocks. Ian began working with what he had. I scanned the blocks for the pink hearts, eliminating them one by one, making combos where I could. I still wasn't advanced enough to plan tons of combos ahead of time, but I could make it much more likely for combos to happen through probability. The pinks were all gone. Green leaves were next. Dumpy Doom started flipping at the top of the screen. Ian must be comboing, which meant I had a few seconds before those blocks would fall. I set up a combo on top of the screen and started eliminating the orange blocks below it. Then it happened. A 6 combo jumped out at me from the screen. My eyes crossed as I stared at it in shock. I just had to move the top block over 1 space. Then as quickly as I saw it, it vanished. The blocks looked normal again. You're dead! As Ian's blocks fell upon my humble kingdom, I slid the combo into place. 2, 3, 4 combo, 5 combo, 6 combo, 7 combo, 8 combo! Ian's attack converted into blocks and hovered above mine. I set up several more combos and waited for them all to fall. 10 combo! Legendary! Dumpy Doom started farting out rainbows over Ian's zone, and then... blocks. So many blocks. They didn't come out in a chunk. They came in a torrential downpour all over Ian's side, sliding from left to right and back again. Ian blinked, his hands and eyes moving so frantically over the screen. I wasn't sure he'd ever seen anything like it before. I sure hadn't. I continued the combo while this was happening, but at this point, there was no need. Ian's screen filled up. He kept trying to make combos until the very end, but... that was it. I won. I stared, dumbfounded at the screen in front of me. Ian's mouth hung open. The room was silent. Then...
Whoa!
Yeah, Hana!
Oh, yeah.
I knew you could do it! I glanced up to see the room applauding, all of it, even the Hidden Block Club. The announcer was gaping at the screen. I've never seen a score that high! Certain I was red as a tomato, I stood to climb off the platform. Not so fast. Ian stepped in front of me, grim as always. I braced myself for his infamous sarcasm. But to my surprise, he laughed.
Hana.
That was a hell of a game, Hana. That's exactly what I wanted from you. He held a hand in the air, and I looked at it in confusion. Don't leave me hanging. Oh! I high-fived him, and he clasped my hand in his. Thanks, Hana. That was fun. Then he disappeared into the pressing crowd. I forced my way through it myself, eager to find John. A bouquet of roses was thrust into my vision. I took it and looked up. I thought you deserved flowers after your wondrous debut. Since you didn't get any last night and all, lead actress deserves to be given flowers. I gazed at the deep red roses, happiness flooding me. This time they truly meant something. Thank you. Anyways, I gotta get going for my event. Wish me luck. I don't need to. I'm coming with you. Okay, then let's get going. I followed John to an event room at the front of the arcade. It was a small space. Only a handful of people were there to watch the incoming battle of retro gamers. Hey, John, ready to fight? I had to double up events this year, and I don't have your history with retro games, but I'll put up as much of a fight as I can. We'll see how it goes.
What's up?
Are you okay, John? You don't look too good. For the first time that day, I truly looked at John and realized Jimmy was right. John was pale, and there were deep bags under his eyes. His hands were trembling ever so slightly. I've had a rough few weeks, but after this, everything will be much easier to deal with. Oh. I wasn't able to practice much. Well, maybe you still have a chance. Not that I'm gonna go easy on you. I wouldn't want you to. Are you sure you're alright? John heaved a heavy sigh. It's just that I'm one of the founders of Normal Boots, and here I was so caught up in my own business that I could hardly even practice. I barely deserve to call myself a member, let alone a founder. John, you can't be serious. You dealt with death, losing your lead for the play, then a terrible performance of that play, and got yourself a new girlfriend. And you think you should have found a way to put even more pressure on yourself. New girlfriend? Are the participants ready? Of course, at that moment, the pig-faced MC popped into the room. Running a bit behind, so let's hurry it up. John made a face at me, then took his place beside Jimmy and picked up a controller. Right. The person with the highest score at the end of this level wins. On your marks, get set, play! John pressed start, and away the game went. Of course, it became apparent very quickly that John wasn't wrong in his assessment of himself. There was no way he was going to win. He needed to have practiced more. John played his very best right up until the end, but it wasn't even close. What? No! Jimmy finished several thousand points ahead. John set down the controller with a grimace. The crowd, disappointed after hoping for a good show, retreated back into the main entry hall. John stared at his hands. Hey, there's always next year. It was a pleasure. Aww. John nodded, extending his hand for a handshake. Congratulations. Jimmy took John's hand, the relief so plain in his face that it was almost painful. Hey, you still did really well despite the circumstances. I'm sure I did. At least you won your event. Maybe with that we still have a chance. And just like that, John was his regular cheery self, though still a bit tired. Want to go look around? Are you sure you're alright? He shrugged. It's over. What am I gonna do, mourn? He grinned at me and I chuckled half-heartedly. Too soon, John. Then let's go play. Yeah. Alright. Oh, no, John. Aww. Eventually, the MC took the stage, ready to announce the winner of the tournament. John's hand slid into my own as the MC opened the tiny envelope containing the results. And the winner of this year's tournament is... Normal Boots Club! Yay! Good job, we did it! Yes! John and I screamed and punched the air, and given that our hands were intertwined, it looked like we were combined forces to take out some kind of monster anime style. The Normal Boots Club and I swarmed on stage, piling around both the trophy and the MC. John grabbed the microphone from the MC, who looked as though he'd been mugged. This year's victory goes right to the rest of my club members. I really dropped the ball, and if it weren't for them, there was no way we would have won. John motioned to the group of us on stage, pausing to allow for the audience's applause. Finally, I have two announcements. First of all, join us in welcoming Hana Mizuno, the newest member of the Normal Boots Club, and my girlfriend. A swarm. This is so different to the Gerard one. Oh my god. A swarm of gasps flew from the men around me. John motioned me to the front of the stage where I stood next to him, blushing furiously. See? We couldn't have done it without her. Ain't she cute? John! I shoved him and the crowd laughed. Then something soft encircled me. PBG had wrapped a normal boots jacket around my shoulders. Thank you. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have won, and Asagao Academy wouldn't have a drama club. She's the real hero of this day. The audience applauded politely once again. John smiled gently at me, then turned to face the crowd with a rather serious expression. Finally, I have one more announcement. He waited a few moments for the crowd to settle. As they saw the look on his face, the mood sobered. I would also like to dedicate this victory to our fallen comrade in arms, Jacques. Sadly, he's no longer with us. Oh! I haven't been able to find a way to repair him, and until that day comes, our robot bird friend will be missed. I wrapped an arm around John's shoulder as he lowered the microphone from his face. There was a moment of silence, and then John passed the microphone back to the MC. After John's announcement, there wasn't much more to the tournament. The crowd left soberly, and the excitement for our victory vanished. At least it did until Satch met us just outside the arcade.
What?
Jacques has been broken the whole time? Why didn't you tell me? Let me have a look at him. I'll see what I can do. Satch took Jacques under his wing and enlisted the help of the only other person in all the academy who would understand robots. Kaksu. I don't know if the audio was supposed to be like this or not, but I don't understand. Why her of all people? She part of the electronics club or something? Don't worry about it. John paced the floor like an expectant father, glancing up every so often at how the operations were proceeding. I can't tell if that noise is supposed to be in there, but I can't get rid of it, so I'm sorry. John, don't worry. Jacques can't get any worse than he already is. I know that, Hana. I know. John stopped pacing, instead coming to rest his head on my shoulders. I know he can't get any worse, but what if he gets better? Part of me wants him to come back, and part of me... John... What if he doesn't have his memories anymore? What if he's got a completely different personality? What if he doesn't like me? How in the world am I going to deal with that? John, I really don't think you need to worry about that. A small thump came from inside the room, and John jumped. Everything okay? Nothing to report. You got it handled. John resumed pacing the floor. No matter what I did, nothing would calm him down. He was beyond help. Oh, I guess it must have been them repairing? I don't know. Finally, the operations were done. Satch and Kaksu approached us nervously. Well, how'd it go? The operation was a complete success. Oh, John. I've missed you, John. Jacques. The rest of us left after that. John was tearing up, and we thought it best to give him some privacy. In fact, I didn't see him for several days. But eventually... Oh my god! It's so cute! He can even fly now, can you believe that? Satch said Kaksu did some kind of optimization on him so his wires don't run through his wings anymore. He's happy as a clam. Jacques swooped down between us for a split second, just long enough to add, I resent that. I really think he could be a star someday, Hana. I'm sure he can, John. I'm sure he can. We'll see what I say about that. John and I were officially dating. Jacques was our ever-present third wheel. Well, that was how I would have liked it to be. To be honest, it was more like I was the third wheel. John and Jacques' bond, stronger than steel and wires, surpassed even the love John and I had for each other. But I didn't mind. All I cared about was seeing John happy, and if Jacques was a part of that, well, maybe I could learn to love Jacques too. I have a bright future ahead of me. I believe this. Yeah. You do! Together we'll be the best actor-manager pairing the world has ever seen. You'll see your name in lights if it's the last thing I ever do. Believe it. And of course, Hana will be by our side the whole way through. Right, Hana? Of course. Man, this is great. I've got two talented actors with me, not to mention a girlfriend I absolutely know I can count on. We've got a bright future ahead of us. I just know it. Not if I can help it. These two. It looked like I'd be stuck with them for a long time to come. And to be honest, that sounded wonderful to me. Oh, yay! We got his best end! I was so worried. Oh my gosh. Kara Hillstock, thank you so much for making this game. Oh my god, everybody. thank you so much for making this game. It's so amazing. Oh my god. Wow. This has been a hell of a ride. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. This was so emotional. I did not expect John's route to be really emotional. And I'm not gonna lie, I was really confused. Oh yes, of course. The voice actors. Ah. That was awesome. Did you hear that? It was like a little bit of John's intro theme. Anyway, during the tournament, the way it works is if your boy of choice loses the tournament, then you get the bad end, as far as I'm aware. But I guess maybe just John always loses it. That really sucks for John. Oh my god, that was amazing. That was so emotional. Oh my god. I was not expecting that to be a really emotional storyline, but it was. And I'm sorry for crying during it, guys. I really am. But wow, that just... You have to understand that even though I've been on YouTube for a very long time now, like 10 years or something, what got me into this channel, besides WoW, what really got me into the idea of making videos and doing reviews like I used to do and stuff, was because I watched John's videos and they inspired me and he inspired me. And I really wish that... Oh. Jacques, over here, please look at me. No, over here. Sign my autograph, I love you. You've created a monster. No, I've created a star. I have to admit, I had my doubts about this whole Jacques as a superstar deal, but I guess you know exactly what you were doing.
I know, right?
Hell yeah, I did. Jacques was now an internationally recognized celebrity with fans from several countries and all walks of life. They came far and wide to see this amazing acting bird. At first, he was just a novelty, but it seemed that the first time someone saw him perform live, they fell in love. His fandom grew exponentially until we had to take him on tour, and then he started getting television and movie offers. Jacques just had a way about him that just made people want to love him. It was an odd turn of events, but I was enjoying the ride, for the most part. Now that Jacques' a star, I'm ready to set my eyes on my next. You're next? John winked at me. I didn't like that look. But that was a discussion for another day. John watched his bird, stars in his eyes. My beloved Jacques. I mean, would it kill him to pay more attention to his actual girlfriend? I sighed and wrapped an arm through John's. Some things would never change.
Asagao Academy.
Oh my god. I'm gonna put in a screenshot of what happened at the end of Gerard's route, which made PBG so emotional for me. But yeah, as I was saying, John really and truly is an inspiration to me, and I'm generally not one to like idolize people because, you know, obviously we're all human, right? But really and truly, John has, without even knowing it, saved me a lot. As I'm sure he's saved a lot of people. You know, a lot of people watch his videos when they're feeling down, or, you know, they find solace in his videos, and he can make people laugh, and he makes people smile, and he makes people happy. And I really wish that, despite the fact that he probably gets it every single day, I really wish that I could tell him that to his face and just tell him, you know, thank you so much for being such a huge inspiration. And for quite literally saving my life, you know? And I'm getting emotional again. I know I'll never be able to, and he's never ever going to see this, but in the event that he does, for some odd unknown reason, thank you, John, really and truly. Thank you so much for helping me through really hard times and being a huge inspiration to me and hundreds of thousands of other people. And in a really weird sense, for being a friend when there was nobody else. Thank you. And thank you everybody for joining me. I know I said that this was just going to be a short one-off video, but I got too invested. I got way too invested, and I hope you don't mind that. It is relatively, speaking of short series. But thank you all so much, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys again really soon.